What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? This is To Having to Hold Season 1, Episode 4. Um, Hope you like this video. Go ahead and click that subscribe button. And all my social media is in the description box. So here's the thing. This episode is going to probably be all over the place because I got a whole lot of opinions that are probably all over the place. And there's some people that I agree with them on one part of the video and I disagree with them on another part because, hey, different things were going down. So we start the episode off with pretty much everybody sort of recapping from the pizza party, but everybody pretty much is in agreement that Christine went a little too far in her comments about um Tayati and David's situation. Couple of things. So first of all, Elaine, you were invited to the pizza party. When you are a couple and one part of the couple gets invited to something, that automatically assumes that the other couple is coming. Don't do that. You don't like Christine, so you nitpicking. Because at the end of the day, you know good and damn well that y'all were invited to that damn pizza party. Your husband was invited. He knew about it. Y'all were invited as a couple. For you to expect that she picked up that Christine will pick up the phone and send you a separate invitation, that's just ridiculous. And again, I think it just goes back to you just not liking Christine, or you and Christine having whatever beef y'all have. Because if that had been David and Tayati, or um Peter and Josh, you wouldn't have taken it that way. But neither here nor there, so I done got that out the way. The other thing, here's my issue. I have a really big problem with people confusing being honest with their opinion. And I mean, with their opinion and it being right. Just because you're honest, one, doesn't mean it needs to be said, and just because you're being honest doesn't mean that you get to say whatever the fuck you want to say. And I mean, what I mean by all of that is this whole Christine making her comment about Tayati and David's situation, talking about somebody, it just ain't gonna work. It just ain't gonna work. First of all, her thing is, well, I'm just telling the truth. No, you're telling your truth because you don't know what's going to work between the two of them. You don't know what their situation is. You may not like it. You may not understand it. You might even think it's stupid, but you don't get to decide what is and what isn't going to work. And then the way you said it, like, well, I'm just being honest. I'm just giving my opinion. I'm not allowed to give my opinion. Yeah, you're allowed to give your opinion, but one, it's the way you say stuff, and two, just because you gave your opinion doesn't mean people gotta agree or it makes it right. Now, your own husband, and I respect the hell out of your husband because what your husband said was, in public, you're gonna back your wife, but in private, you let her know when she's wrong. I can respect that. I can respect that, and that's exactly what he did. He didn't say nothing at the party. He kind of tried to, move the whole conversation along at the party. But privately, he told her, look, you can't say that. That wasn't cool for you to say that. And um she going back and forth with him. I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest again. And he even told her, that's your truth. He was like, it's just you, that's just not cool. Those are our friends. We don't have to. She's like, well, I just think it's stupid. Don't you think it's stupid? He was like, that's not the point. Because again, you can think it's stupid. I don't necessarily agree with the whole nesting thing, but that ain't my situation. And I can't walk a mile in those people's shoes and what they think is going to work, or how they feel like they got to make their situation work for them. Go for it. And as a friend, you can give your opinion and just leave it at that. You don't need to keep dwelling on it. And then for you, because they weren't giving y'all the answers y'all wanted, now all of a sudden it's, well, that's just stupid. It ain't gonna work. So anyway, that's how the whole thing went down. Then the other thing that came up, because Tayati met up with Elaine and Yandrik and was telling them about Dr. Carl coming. And again, that was shady, Christine, and you know it was shady. And the reason why I know you know it was shady is because later on in the episode, you make a comment about it, talking about well, I just think y'all were acting funny because Dr. Carl was there. And no, well then why you invite him then if you thought it was gonna make your friend uncomfortable? Why you invite him? And then I lost my train of thought. It was something else with Dr. Carl. Oh damn. It was something else with, I'll remember it, but there's something else with Tayati and the whole Dr. Carl situation. Oh, that you wouldn't give Tayati a heads up. And I already went through that last week, so I'm not going to dwell on it because we already talked about that last week. But again, if you didn't think it was an issue, if you weren't trying to create drama and you weren't trying to create a situation, you would have told Tayati, look, I know that, because at the end of the day, she's been married for 10 years. So this was a situation that happened 10 years ago at the earliest. But it's neither here nor there. You still give a heads up. When you having parties, I'm having a situation myself. I'm having a car party for my birthday, which is next week. I'm having a car party for my birthday, and there are some people that I can't invite, and I had to make a decision about who I was going to invite, who I wasn't going to invite, because I have some friends that got outside situations that they don't rock with, and I'm not inviting that into my home. But if I had chosen to invite all of those parties, I would have let both of them know. I would have called one and said, "Look, I invited you to my car party, but I also invited X, Y, and Z." And I would have called the other person to say, "Look, I invited you to my car party, but I also invited X, Y, Z. And I will respect your decision if you choose not to come." Because that's what you do. When you know people have a situation and they're friends of yours, you could be friends with both people, but that's only fair that you let both people know what the situation is. That is my opinion. Moving on. Peter and Josh, or mainly Peter, decided they need to have an event. And Peter's thing is, look, pizza parties are fun, birthday parties are cool, but I like to put a little spicy spice going on. I like some risque shit. I like pushing the envelope. Let me tell y'all something. Peter ass is fine. Do you hear me? I'm sorry, Josh. I know you look at my reviews. Your man is fine. And I know he don't even play on this side of the street. The man is fine. I was just looking at this episode, and I was like, Peter is fun. Anyway, moving on. So, um, so he decides that this is around the time of Thanksgiving. We get to see each couple as they celebrate Thanksgiving, and we'll get to that in a moment. But Peter wanted to put together a little event just to break up the monotony. He said things are real tense and everything is kind of, with things going on. We got Tayati and David's situation, and then we have the drama from the pizza party where people kind of beefing with Christine a little bit. So I want to have a little event. And so they come up with this idea to do Spanx, Spanksgiving, Spank was sort of like a oh, the word is escaping my brain right now. Burlesque. Thank you. Sort of. I said thank you to my own brain. Anyway, sort of a burlesque situation. Um, Now I had a little bit of a problem with this situation, but we're gonna get to that in a minute. I think the party is great. I thought everybody stayed in theme and it was fun. But I'll get to what my no, I'll go ahead and talk about it now because I'll forget and then I'll be mad I didn't say it. The party was great and I had a good time. Now let me say this. I'm getting a little deep for a minute. I'm coming out of reality TV and just getting a little deep for a minute. Why can men be sexy without being naked, but women can't? Peter and Josh, it was their party. They were fully clothed at the party. They just had on vests with no shirts. Well, hell, that ain't nothing. But the women, and again, the women looked good, and I'm not judging, but the women were in these, Moulin Rouge outfits, and they looked good. But as I'm watching it, I'm just thinking to myself, now why do women got to be half naked to be sexy, and the men are in tuxes and suits, and you know what I mean? And again, I'm not blaming Josh and Peter. I'm talking about society norms. I'm not talking about Josh and Peter. Josh and Peter is not doing this. This is not a dig on them or their party. It just again brings me to the whole just the feminist side to say the women could have been just as sexy in a bustier and some long pants. Why'd they have to have on bustiers and just and panties and tights? You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, y'all. I just went deep for a second. I'm coming back to the middle. All right, my bad. I just went my brain because as I was watching it, that's just kind of where my brain went. But I'm coming back to it. I'm coming back to the middle. So Peter and Elaine get together to try out some drinks for the party and just sort of, just sort of gossip and got la 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 because they're friends in real life. You know what I mean? They're really good friends. And Peter started bitching to Elaine a little bit about the situation with Juliana and Josh. And the one thing that he said, was it him or was it Elaine? I don't remember if it was him or it was Elaine, but one of the people in the room said they were talking about Juliana not keeping to um lines. Keeping to shit. All my brain going out on me right now, y'all. But keep it to the lines. Stand within the lines. Stand boundaries. God darn boundaries. And one of them said, no, it's not her crossing boundaries. It's Josh putting the boundaries in place and enforcing the boundaries on a consistent basis. That's really what it boils down to. People are going to do what you allow them to do. And the other thing I thought that was interesting that Peter said was when Juliana has a man, when she's dating and she has something to preoccupy her time, she's cool. She don't do all this extra. But when she's single and she doesn't have it, she's not dating, that's when she sort of intrudes and oversteps. And so I think this all really comes down to her having too much time on her hand. And like I said last week, I think I said it the week before, girl, get you a spa day, Netflix and chill, get you a staycation, go stay at a real nice hotel in Atlanta on the top floor, get in the pool, do a spa, do something. Do you, girl, do you. Let them have the kids and do their kid time. You do you. I love the fact that y'all can co-parent. That is great. But there are boundaries. And yes, Josh is the person in the middle. So Josh has to be the one to set them and maintain them. But Peter, it sounds like this is something that has gone on for an extended period of time. And Elaine was like, look, I'm just tired of hearing about it. Like, I'm tired of hearing him bitch about it because, until somebody's ready to change it, I'm tired of hearing them bitch and complain back and forth. So the so there's that. Anyway, now here's where I said, because a minute ago I was jumping on Christine because I was like, you was disrespectful and you was wrong for what you said. But now I got Christine's back. Christine and her mom are having a conversation, and they're talking about, Christina's talking about how she doesn't really have a lot of friends in Atlanta. I mean, I said Atlanta, Lord. I'm so used to all these shows being in Atlanta. In Charlotte, and she's been living there since college, and she just hasn't been able to build a strong female network. I'm not going to dig into why because I don't have enough information to make an opinion. It would only be an assumption, but I'll put it to the side. Um, and she, wants her mom to move down there. And her mother was like, well, I'll move when you give me a reason to move. And she was like, me being down here, me asking you to move, isn't that reason enough? And then they start talking about the baby. Here's my problem. I don't understand why, and this is no disrespect to Christine's mom, and this is no disrespect to Daryl's mom. I mean, dad, when he was having a conversation. I will never understand why people feel so invested in other people's family situation. As someone who is, more than old enough to be of childbearing age, almost past it. That is a conversation. That is a question that I've had my whole life. When I'm in a relationship, when I'm not in a relationship. When you're having kids, go and have some kids. The minute you got a cough, you pregnant? What? Damn, I just coughed. You know what I mean? I have a problem with people, that pressure that people put on you to have children, as if your life cannot be complete without children. And that's the one thing that I was with Christine 100% on. And you know what, Christine? It's not selfish. You know what? I had somebody say that to me. I know I'm an educator. I had a student say that to me. This was years ago. Student tell me that I was selfish because I didn't have children. How you figure I'm selfish because I don't have children? I said, I think it's more selfish for me to have children that I'm not ready to have nor want. That's selfish. If a lot more people would be honest with themselves about what they really want and what they don't want, and whether they want children or don't want children, we would have a lot less abused kids, neglected kids, and everything else. Because everybody ain't supposed to be a damn parent. And I'm just going to be real about it. Everybody ain't supposed to be a parent. And they say, oh, well, your maternal instincts, they kick in once you get pregnant. No, the hell they don't. Because if they did, we wouldn't have so many kids out here that are beaten and abused and neglected and are in the system and being sexually abused. No, we would not. So don't tell me that when the minute you get pregnant, that motherly instinct clicks in. No, it don't. Don't click in for every damn body. It sure does not. It sure does not. And so that bothers me. And again, it's no disrespect to Christine's mom, but I just have a problem. And that whole scene was making me cringe because Christine is telling her, look, me and Daryl, we love our life. We love coming home and not having to worry about nobody but ourselves. We love being able to go on vacation whenever we feel like it. If we want to go to dinner at 3 o'clock in the morning, we can go to dinner at 3 o'clock in the morning. If we want to wake up and decide to fly to Cancun, we can go fly to Cancun. And all we got to worry about is what we're going to do with the dog. And I get it. I get it. And if the two of y'all never decide to have children, that is y'all's decision to make between the two of you. Because see, grandma and grandpa, they cool. And it's fun and games, because grandma and grandpa want to be grandma and grandpa, but at the end of the day, that is still your child. And until you are ready to make that commitment, don't. Don't. So anyway, that's why I said, y'all, I'm all over the place, because Christine, I really don't like this whole situation with how you carry yourself sometimes with the group, but on this one, I'm with you, boo. Now, let me hurry up because it's getting long-winded. Thanksgiving is nice. Tayati and David are having a different Thanksgiving because they're keeping the front for the family, because the family doesn't really know to the full extent of what's going on. But her grandfather is in town. She's really close with her grandfather. And so she did want to talk to him about the situation with David. And she has a conversation with him. And, she wasn't sure what response she was going to get from him. But the response she got from him was very much like, look, life is too short to be miserable. And, I support what you feel like is best for you in your life. I really like David. I would not be happy to see you guys separate, but life is just too short to be miserable. I said, I know that's right, Grandpa. And that's the truth. That is the truth. I don't know the full extent of how unhappy they've been and why they've been unhappy. That is their business. But I will say this: life is too short to be miserable. Boom. Grandpa got it. He nipped it right in the bud. Um, Elaine and Yandra, they had a nice Thanksgiving. Elaine mama funny. Elaine mama said, shut up, we gotta pray. So they look like they had a nice Thanksgiving. Ursula. I like Ursula. I don't necessarily agree with where Ursula is coming from with the situation with her daughter and her daughter's boyfriend. But again, outside looking in. But I will say this: the more you fight against, she said it herself, the more you fight against something, the more people are determined that they're gonna do it. And I hear where you're coming from, Ursula, because I think at the end of the day, let me just say this: Ursula Thanksgiving. First of all, what was funny was they were having a vegan Thanksgiving. Ursula mama bought a turkey, but this lets you know how much Ursula respect her mama. Ursula was like, "Okay, well, mama bought a turkey." Like she ain't fight with her. She ain't say throw that turkey out my house. She was like, "Mama bought a turkey." I was trying to have a vegan Thanksgiving. My mama bought a turkey. That's my mama. You know what I'm saying? Like, what you gonna say to mama? And her mama stood there like, say something. I dare you say something. So at dinner, Ursula's daughter's boyfriend, he came up to talk to her, and he was very respectful. But basically, what he was doing was asking for her daughter's hand in marriage. He was like, I want, I know you've talked to Clint, and he let you know what we talked about, but I wanted to come to you myself, and you know, he gave her the whole kit and caboodle. And Ursula was, I feel like Ursula was honest with him. Um, and Ursula told him, like, look, I don't really, I'm not really feeling that right now. I just feel like, and the one thing Ursula said that I think is the crux of all of this was, I don't want her to make the same mistakes I made. Ursula, you can't live for your kids, boo. They're gonna make mistakes. And I get it. We never want to see our kids make the same. Well, I say kid, I ain't got no kids. But we never want to see people that we love make the mistakes that we made that they can. I would never want to see my niece. My niece is in her early 20s now. I never want to see her make some of the mistakes that I made. And I talked to her about it. But at the end of the day, those are her mistakes to make. And if she don't make the same mistakes I made, she's going to make mistakes because she's young. And your daughter is young. And even if your daughter doesn't make the same mistakes you made, as far as maybe you feel like getting married too soon and things like that, she's still going to make mistakes because she's a child, a young adult, but a child to you. And so none of us make the best decisions. None of us make perfect decisions. We've all made mistakes. And here's the thing: the best lessons come from the mistakes. So she's got to learn from her mistakes. And I get it that the mother in you says, my mistake was getting married too early. I could have alleviated a whole lot of extra boom, 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 boom. And you don't want your daughter to do it. But at the end of the day, she's got to make her own mistakes. And it was funny because she never came right out and said, no, you can't have my blessing, but she ain't say yes either. And Colin kept saying, so do I have your blessing? I hear what you're saying, but do I have your blessing? I hear what you're saying, but do I have your blessing? And it was funny because Ursula ain't want to give it to him. Ursula did not want to give it to him. And she never said yes. She didn't say no, but she never said yes. And at the end of the day, she acknowledges that. And she even said, I feel like there's some things I want you to work on. And I get that too, Ursula. But there's just no perfect situation. It just isn't. It just isn't. Anyway, last but not least, we have the Thanksgiving party, right? Everybody's getting together. And again, I hated that wig that Elaine had on. I hated that wig that Elaine had on. I hated that wig that Elaine had on. I hated that outfit Christine had on. I hated that outfit Christine had on. I hated that outfit Christine had on. She just had it all hanging out. And here's the thing. She's got a beautiful body. She's a beautiful girl, and that's how she feels. Cool. Her husband kind of, and I like how he tries to say stuff without coming right out and saying don't do it. But because she's her own woman. I mean, he's her husband. He's not her controller. But he kind of, I think, was trying to let her know maybe your dress is a little, maybe your outfit's a little provocative, a little too provocative. And she was like, "What? I like it. Okay, cool. You like it? I love it." So at the party, and I'm not gonna blame the alcohol because I think Elaine said exactly what the hell Elaine wanted to say. A couple of things went down at this party. Overall, the party looked nice. Peter, honey, if I lived in Charlotte and I could afford you, you could do all my parties because I like what I saw. It looked really nice. It looked really well put together. I like the venue. I like the food. I like the ambiance. It was cool. But I just feel like I can't afford you, boo. I feel like I can't afford you. But anyway, um, Elaine made some comments to Juliana about her relationship with Peter that I thought were out of place, inappropriate, and wrong. First of all, that wasn't your conversation to have. I understand that Peter's your friend and he bitches to you about it, but that wasn't your conversation to have with Juliana about her relationship with Peter and Josh. Number two, for you to be like, she was like, well, he's the father. And she was like, no, that's between you and Josh. Peter don't have nothing to do with it. Yes, Peter does. Peter signed up for that when he decided to date a man with children. He signed up for the fact that he's stepdaddy. That's just what it is. And they've been together long enough. And I feel like he's fully embraced that role. I don't feel like his issue at all is with the fact that Josh has children. I think his issue is the boundaries between Juliana and Josh. And Juliana then brought a man to the party. Now Peter was happy about that. I'm happy about that too. And he was fine too. Juliana, that was a beautiful man that you brought to the party. I hope he's still around. He's a beautiful man. But Elaine, you were wrong. You were wrong for what you said. You were wrong for how you came at Juliana, and you was definitely wrong for when you came at her because this was a party. That wasn't the time or the place for it. And again, Elaine is another one of those people that feels like I can say whatever I want to say, especially when it comes to my friends and I got their back. But sometimes it's just not necessary. Peter was venting to you as a friend. He wasn't necessary. You sometimes you talk to people because you want them to hear you. You don't necessarily talk to people because you want them to do anything. And I feel like that was the situation with Peter talking to you about the situation with Juliana and Josh. He didn't want you to interfere. He didn't want you to interject. He just wanted you to listen. He just needed to vent. He just needed to bitch about it. And so I feel like you commenting to Juliana at the Thanksgiving party was inappropriate. And I didn't agree with what you had to say either. Just wasn't your place. The other thing that went down was Elaine went after Christine about what happened at the pizza party. And again, not your fight. It's just not your fight. She brought up the fact that she wasn't invited. I already addressed that. Then she started talking about, well, that's your opinion. Why would you say that? And then she talked about the Dr. Carl situation. And again, like I said, Christine, you were being shady with the Dr. Carl situation. You were being very shady about that. But they got it, they ended up getting into it. And of course they were like, well, Elaine's been drinking. No, that ain't about Elaine drinking. That ain't about Elaine said exactly what the hell Elaine wanted to say. It just wasn't her place to say it. Clint apologized to David. He said, I realized that maybe I did a little too much. I went a little too far at the party. He said, I just don't really understand what it is. He said, but you're my friend, and I got your back. I just want to just support you in however I can support you. So I like that. And guys can do that. I like the fact that he did talk to him and he apologized and then they moved on from it. Like I said, men know how to do that, honey. What I like about Ursula, honey, is when shit start going left, Ursula leaves. Because she did the same thing at the pizza party last week. When stuff started getting a little heated, Ursula was like, yeah, all right, I'm out. Deuces. Right? I don't know if she just went inside and ate her pizza inside or whatever, but she separated herself. And she did the same thing here. When Elaine and Christine started going back and forth, Ursula was like, yeah, well, I'm going to go on and let y'all talk that out. I'm going to be over here with my man. Because her and Clint, honey, they was being real, they was getting it, okay? Clint lifted her up and all some more stuff. It got real funky, honey. Real funky. So let me go ahead and hurry this up, y'all. But that was pretty much where the episode ended. The only other thing they were bringing up when they were arguing with Christine, though, was that Christine is not qualified to give an opinion because she doesn't have children. That is part of it. But I already addressed it at the beginning. I think what she said was just rude, and it just wasn't necessary for her to bring up and for her to speak on. But anyway, that's pretty much where it ended. It looks like probably next week it'll pick up, the party pick up in the middle of the argument and give us the second half of it. But let me know what y'all think. Drop it in them comments. Peace.